Okay. In the last class, we were discussing about the communication channels at the onboard communication interface and external communication interface. And under onboard communication interface, so we will discuss about I2C serial peripheral interface SPI protocol, UART universal asynchronous receiver transmitter protocol. Then one more is one wire interface. These are the four few amongst your syllabus. There are few more communication interface, but we will discuss about these four in little in detail. And out of these two, I2C and SPI and UART are more important because more widely used communication interface. Now, today just we'll try to see the working of I2C protocol. So, and that's it. Okay. So this is the block diagram or pictorial representation of I2C protocol, where which mainly comprises of two bus lines. One is SCL and another one is SDA. These two are very important uh, bus lines in. I'm sorry, my laptop gone little slow. In fact, not little, too much slow. Okay. Now, these two are the important buses that what we are speaking about. So this is the I2C bus here, I2C bus, and out of which SCL stands for serial clock and SDA stands for serial data. So now, what is the importance of serial clock? So this serial clock, you can observe this. The clock is attached to the microcontroller, and we call always this microcontroller or microprocessor as master device. Okay, so always this clock is going to be generated by the master device itself. So the master device generates the clock and the output bits are synchronized to sampling between the clock cycle between the master and
Sir,
slave.
sorry to interrupt,
Once,
sir. Sir,
yes,
PPT is not visible, sir. Just a blank slide is visible.
is that so?
Yes, sir.
Wait. I'll just make a reattempt. I'll stop sharing and once again start resharing the screen. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Now it's visible, sir.
Okay. Now, is my screen is visible after giving a slideshow option?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Now, integrated inter-integrated circuit I to I square C bus, what we call it, consists of mainly two bus lines. One is called as SCL and another one is called STA. What is this SCL? SCL is nothing but a serial clock which generates the clock. And now, who generates this clock cycle? The clock cycle is always generated by your master device, and this is where you connected with the slave device. Now, what is this slave and master? See, always master is nothing but a microprocessor or a microcontroller IC. Okay, and the slave device comes with maybe a ROM device, or the slave is maybe your peripheral that is attached to your microcontroller. Maybe it is timer or counter, or and even the peripherals attached to the devices like USB, any devices maybe. Okay, and those hardwares we call them as slave devices. Now I need to I need to make an interconnection or interface between this master device and the slave devices. Now these interconnections are done through a bus called I2C bus, this communication channel mainly, and here we are discussing about I2C. Now this I square C consisting of two lines. One line represents the generation of the clock and another one is data line. So this is a serial data. The name itself indicates that the data is carried out serially. Now, and the serial clock, the importance of the serial clock is it generates the synchronization of clock pulses, which means that the job of the microcontroller is to generate, because it consists of a crystal oscillator by through which microcontroller generates the clock. Now these has to be serially synchronized with my both the slaves. So hence the output bits are to be synchronized by bit by the clock signal. Now this clock signal is shared in between master device and slave device. Now another point about SDA, the job of this particular bus, the second bus, that is serial data, is to transmit the serial data across the devices. Maybe I may carry a data I may carry this data from master device to slave device, or I may fetch the data from slave device to master device, right? So assume that this is that's where I took this example like EEPROM. What is this PROM? This is nothing but a memory where I may fetch the content from the memory, or after performing some job in the microcontroller, I may store the result back to the memory. So this is where we call that as the data has to be transferred from master to slave or from slave to master. So in this regard, the job of SDA bus is to transmit the serial data across the devices. Okay, and coming to the sequence of operations in communicating with I square C slave device. Now the first job, see here, this SCL goes high, which means that if signal has the first job is I should alert the clock, or I should generate the clock. The moment you generate the clock, now I need the next job is to transmit the data, right? The transmission of data may be from masters to slave or slave to master. And don't think that there would be only two slaves or only one slave. There are n number of slaves can be there. So this is again nothing but the microcontroller may speaks to n number of hardwares. Okay, maybe even the kind of hardware may be your sensors, or even the hardware may be a camera device. So all these devices act like a slave, and the master device will be always processor. Now next, what happens after making this SCL to go high? Okay, now the next is I need to say that okay, data will about to start. The process of transmitting the data will about to start, by which I make my data line to go low. So the low indicates that, so it is the signal that it is the signal that I am trying to transfer the data. Okay, which means that SCL is 1 and SDA is 0. That's what the meaning here. During SCL equal to 1, the SDA will becomes 0. So that indicates the start condition for data transfer. Okay, now when it then it's now any before transmission or reception of the data, first, since there are slave 1, slave 2, maybe similarly it may have a slave 3, 4, and n number of slaves might attach it to this I2C bus, but to which slave you are trying to communicate, whether the device master device is communicating with slave 1 or slave 2 or slave 3. So that can be ensured by sending the address. Now assume that I need to communicate with the prompt device, so which means that I should have the address of slave 1. Now what it does, if master wants to communicate the master device, this is with respect to master I am talking about, not with respect to slave. That's where I took as a under single heading the master. The master pulls the clock, the master pulls the SDA to low, which means the uh, pulling up of SCL to logic high and pulling down of SDA to logic 0 is done by the master device itself. Similarly, once this is ready for data transfer, now master sends the address to the slave correspondingly over SDA channel. Now this starts sending a 8 bit of address, or 7 to 10 bit usually. So the data may be 7 to 10 bit of wide, the address bus I'm speaking about. So that is the maximum capacity of your SDA I2C bus, so which can transfer the address from 7 bit, varying from 7 bit to 10 bit, to the slave device to which it wants to communicate. Now the address may be the same address is sent to slave 1 and slave 2 as well as slave 3. If that address gets matched with the slave 1, then slave 1 in turn sends an acknowledgement. So yes, this is my address. Or if that address get matched with the slave 2, then slave 2 will send an acknowledgement stating that, so if this is my address, what job need to perform by me, tell me. So this is how the communication takes place. Now in the fourth step, the clock pulse are generated at the SCL line for synchronizing bit reception by the slave device. So which means that, so once it generates the address, the SCL line, now it starts sending the clock signal to the uh, synchronizing the bit reception by the slave device, which means that see, whenever I want to transfer the data, first I need to send the clock. The clock is just like a bell indication that here onwards, after sending this clock pulse, so make sure that I be ready, I will send the data now. So that is what we call it as synchronization between the data and the clock cycle. Okay, now always before starting the data, the MSB of the data is always first transmitted. So which means that, what do you mean by that? The MSB bit will once again consisting of the start bit. See, if the data is around 8 bit, the first bit says about, we call it as S bit. So S bit says that, okay, I am ready to transfer the data and you also be ready to receive the data. So that's what the indication will be always given to the slave device. So that the data in the bus valid during high period of clock signal, which means that as long as SCL is logic 1, the data that is present in the SDA bus, it is valid. Once SCL goes to logic 0, the data that is present on SDA, it is going to be invalid. Okay. Now what that it does? First, it generates the clock signal. It pulls up SCL to logic high. Simultaneously, it pulls down SDA to logic 0. So now the bus is ready to transfer the data. Now before transferring the data, make sure that the slave device address is to be same. It is to be matched so that the master device sends the address, the varying between 7-bit or 10-bit to each of the slaves. So once slaves receives the address, it sends an acknowledgement that whatever the address is sent by you, yes, it is relatively to slave 1, or if it is matching with slave 2, then slave 2 will send the acknowledgement. And the same case is true with any other devices. So and you may ask me that is there any possibility like slave 1 and slave 2 simultaneously can send the acknowledgement? No, definitely it is not possible. It is something like master is doing a postman job. So he will not give the same post to two different houses because it has to match the address. Okay, so even if that's how the communication takes place between master and slave during the address transfer. Now, once at the same time, the data is going to be transferred onto the SDA cycle, SDA bus. So this data that is present on SDA bus is valid until SCL is logic 1. Okay, that's what the fourth point say about. Next, fifth point, the master device sends read or write bit. Now, anyways, data is already present on the SDA. Now this data, whether the microcontroller has to read or the microcontroller has to write. So that is another ambiguity, right? So there are two operations. One is if master sends the read signal, which is nothing but it will fetch the data from the slave to master. If master sends the write signal, then the data will be written onto the EEPROM. That is what the difference between write and read operations. Now that is how it is going to send the signal. So if the bit value is equal to 1, then it is called as read operation, and this is also going to be performed by the master device itself. If bit value is 0, then it understood that it go for write operations. Okay, it waits for the acknowledge from the slave device whose address is sent on the bus along with read write operation command. Now this is what I told. Once it matched with the address slave 1, so let us assume that slave 1 got the correct address, and now it is ready to the data is also ready. Now the data whether to read or whether to write. So based on the 1 or 0, let me assume it is 0. Now what it has to do? It has to write the data onto the slave device. Okay, so and once it is done with this, the slave device sent an acknowledgement after receiving the address along with the read and write command. Okay. Now the next, or the slave receives the address, it responds to the master by sending an acknowledgement bit. So how it sends the acknowledgement bit? Once again over the SDA line itself, it sends the logic 1 stating that whatever the address you have sent, it is correct. So once again, master upon receiving the acknowledgement, master, if the requested operation is write to device, if it is write operation, then what it does? So then master sends 8-bit data to slave over the SDA line. Okay, if the request performed by the slave is read from the device, if it is that operation, then master receives, or the slave sends the data to the master device. So other way I can call it as the master receives the data from the slave device. Okay, so again it is the data reception or the data transfer, both must be happened through data line itself, which is SDA bus itself. Okay, now ninth, the master waits for the acknowledgement bit upon byte transfer of data. So which means it is going to transfer 8 bit, that is what the byte transfer complete for a write operation. So if it is a write operation, so then once again, see, every time there should be a handshaking signal. So once I send the address, it has to give me the acknowledgement. Then based on the read write operations, master may send the data to the slave device. Then once again it receives the data. Then once again acknowledgement bit has to be sent by the slave stating that yes, you have written, you have completed your job. So similarly, master waits for the acknowledgement bit from the device upon a transfer, when it transfer the complete data. So that's what the write operation, and it sends an acknowledgement bit to the slave for a read operation. For first, master writes the data to the slave, and once again the acknowledgement bit is going to be sent to the device for the slave. Now I have done my job. Now it is your job to read that particular data. Okay, the master device transmit the transfer by pulling SDA line to high when clock signal is logic high. Now, once the data transfer is done, once the job is done, now I should stop that condition. Now, how do you do it? So, yes, of course, even for stopping the signal, SDA SCL line is always high, because without the clock signal nothing is possible. SCL must be high, but while transferring the data, what we had done, so we have done like SDA to go 0. Now that was the time where data transfer was ready. Now I want to stop, I want to terminate the transferring of data. Now what I should do, so just make SDA line to go logic 1. So that's indicates the stop condition. See here, both SDA and SDA and SCL are high, then it is a stop condition. SDA is low and SCL is high, it indicates, it is indication of start condition. Okay, here I have a small animation video for you guys to make this understand in a much better way. I'll just play it for you and just watch it so that it gives a better understanding. Is it visible? Now give me a handshaking signal, give me an acknowledgement. Just a minute. Just okay. So here it is. It has sent the signal logic 1 and logic 2 0. By default condition, both will be logic 1 because if both are logic 1, it indicates that that none of the data is getting transferred. So this indicates the transfer of address. So now the address matched with slave 1, and now slave 1 is transmitting, giving the acknowledgement bit, sending an acknowledgement bit for master. Now once master receives the acknowledgement bit, what is the next job? It has to send the data. So the data is sending once again on from the through the data bus itself. You can see here the clock pulse that is generated, and clock SCL is always high. Once it received the data, once again it sends the acknowledgement back to master bus. Now P is a stop indication, and P bit is sent stating that we are done with the job. Stop condition received bus is released. Similarly, this is another example where slave is getting communicated with master. So it initially it sends a start signal to both slave as well as master, and redirect bit to both. Now it starts sending the address. Now to which the address is getting matched, that will be giving communication with master. Now in this, slave 2 get a perfect address and it matched with the master address sent by the master. Now it sends the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is received by the master. Now it starts sending the data, required data to slave 2. So one by one it is going because it is a serial data transfer, not parallelly. Okay, that's very important point. So once it received, so again it sends the acknowledgement. So that's all about a small animation window. So any doubts in this? The working of I2C bus. I'm in the chat room. If you have any doubts or kind of any discussion, you can just tell me. Let me know. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Okay, fine. That's good. We'll go for next working of next protocol, that is SPI protocol. Probably we'll end up this. Unfortunately, whatever I prepared the slides, uh, it it's not present. So I'll just end up this here itself, just giving the introduction. That's what due to the lack of power backup, it went off. This is the serial peripheral bus. Once again, this is also serial, synchronous, and bidirectional. Even in case of I2C, it was also bidirectional, no doubt. And it was half duplex. Which one? I2C was a half duplex, but serial peripheral interface bus is an full duplex bus. Now it consisting of four wired serial bus interface, whereas which one I2C consisting of only two wire and serial interface bus. Okay, so once again this was introduced for the first time by Motorola company. With this brief introduction, tomorrow we'll finish SPI protocol as well as the other two protocols, wire and UART. Okay. So once we done with this, so almost by Monday I'll complete this. I will be able to complete this unit. Unit 3 is going to be completed by Monday, or latest by tomorrow. I'll try to find out. Okay. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me the doubts. Anything else that you want to discuss, please let me know. We can have a kind of small discussion. And apart from that, a very important point about, just note it down. Probably I forgot to give this point here. The data speed, at what rate the data get transferred. So I2C, at what rate the data get transferred for I square C. Speed, you say that the internet wired internet data getting transferred at 10 Mbps, right? So which means that 10 MB of data, megabits of data, is transferred in 1 second, right? So similarly, there are three substandards for in I2C bus itself. Okay, one is able to transfer the data at 100 kilobits per second. So this is 100 kbps. Sorry, I should write it as small b. It is 100 kbps. One, and the second model, or you can call it as second type of I2C bus, which is able to transfer the data of 12 kbps per second. Okay, now the third type, which could able to transfer the data, which we called as high speed bus, which is usually 3.4 mbps, megabits per second. Okay, these are the three different types of the, or I call it as three different standards. Okay, that are available in the market. And again, how it is available? Is it in the form of wire, or is it in the form of how? So normally I2C is available in the market in the form of integrated circuit. The name itself says what? The name itself says that it is integrated circuit. It is not available in the form of wire like your LAN cables or USB cables. It is available in the market in the form of integrated circuit itself. Okay, that is one more important point that you need to understand here. So you can explore this, write a program. So once based upon this, you can write a simple C programming. Okay, where even your Raspberry Pi or in many of you already used what is that, Arduino board for your program for mini projects. and there you used to write a one statement called serial in and serial.print, right? So these two uh, programming built-in functions you used to use. What does it mean actually? So which means that the Arduino board consists of a serial communication channel, and the Arduino board was consisting of SPI protocol. Okay, again you are supposed to enable that protocol to transfer the data from your Arduino board to the slave condition, and the slave may be reading the sensor and sending that sensor value to display it on LCD screen. Now LCD screen is your slave device. Okay, the data is getting transferred from microcontroller or atmel microcontroller, or you say that it is an Arduino board. Basically Arduino board contains a microcontroller called atmega microcontroller, and this atmega microcontroller starts sending the data, because you probably assume that you have designed a system to read the or to access the temperature of a room temperature. Now the sensor access the temperature, it reads the temperature, then it sends to the microcontroller through analog pins. Now from the data received, now it is job of your microcontroller to display it on what is the value that is to be displayed, and that is to be displayed on LCD screen, and how it performs. So this job is done through SPI protocol, where it is called as a communication protocol. So there you used to use this serial in and serial print. So whenever you write a serial, it is nothing but you are trying to fetch, or you are trying to explore SPI protocol in that. Okay. Similarly, in your Raspberry Pi hardware, you have UART, you also have I2C protocol. Okay, in your ARM processor you can access UART as well as I2C protocol there also, and followed by SPI protocol. All three protocols you can explore. That's a thing. So there you used to write this kind, and again probably you meet serial in the bracket, you used to say 9600. So what is the 9600? Is nothing but a baud rate. What do you mean by baud rate? It is again a speed of a data that is getting transferred through the communication channel. And nothing but once again 9600 bits per second. Okay, that's what we call it as baud rate. Here also 400 kbps, 3.4 mbps is once again a baud rate. Okay, so anything else you want to know, because you have done a projects on this as a part of your mini project in your fourth semester. Might be sometimes these kinds of doubts will be there, like why we use such kind of programming lines or statements as such. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, okay, then for the day we'll end up the session. Tomorrow most probably I try to complete the chapter. If not, by latest by Monday I'll finish the unit 3. Okay, thank you. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಾ? ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೈತೆ. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಿಟ್ಟೆ.